Hi everybody, it's Dana. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are beginning work, well, not beginning, but I'm going to show you what I've been working on. My next few projects are these little golden books. I've never done them before, but I've seen tons of videos, and I thought I'd take you along with me as I do these projects, and they're so super cute. So what I've done is I'm working on 3 of them. We're doing this one called Little Mommy, My Little Golden Book About God, and then I'll show you the 3rd one, excuse me, because that's the one we're going to work on. I've put the signatures together. I have 2 signatures with the story intact in the book, and so I've done these 2, so I'm going to put these aside, and we're going to work on this one together. I'll show you the signatures, and then we'll walk through how I put the broke the book apart and got the book pages into the signature. So that's what we're going to do today. So I'll put this aside and just show you the signatures really quick. My pages measure 7 3/4 tall. And the whole page is 11 inches wide that are folded in half to make a 5.5 inch page. I followed Gail Agostinelli's tutorials on little golden books. And what she did was she chose 6 scrapbook. These are cardstock. You could use paper if you wanted to. And she did 6 patterned papers per signature. So each book has 12. And what she did was she made 3 pages pockets and 3 pages just regular pages per signature. And I did my pockets a little bit different, so I'll show you that really quick. I did I can't remember whether it was 3.5, I think it's 3.5 inch pocket. Yes, a 3.5 inch pocket. So mine were 9, before I folded the pocket over, they were 11 inches wide by 9 1/4 tall. Then I folded up a 3 inch pocket to make this 7 3/4 tall. Now what Gail had done was she just left it at that and then folded, and she had the pocket that went all the way across here. What I did was I cut a little V to take out some of the bulk in the middle, so that you don't have, you know, it's kind of bulky if you just leave that part there and fold it in half. So I just cut that part out. You'd find pockets like this, a pocket insert like this, in a lot of travelers' notebooks. And so that's the way I did my pockets. And then I just sewed all the way around in a zigzag, just instead of gluing the pockets down. And I just thought that was really cute. So what I have in each signature right now is my 3 pocket pages. And then I have some music, coffee dye paper, then my scrapbooking printed paper that is not pockets, just regular pages. This is a children's dictionary page. Here's another pocket. This is a Craftsmith page. More coffee dyed paper. Scrapbooking paper. More coffee dyed paper. Here's my other pocket page. And there's the center of my signature. And I will wait to sew these into the cover. I haven't even done the covers yet. And basically why I haven't, a lot of people start out with the cover, but the reason is I'm not sure. I don't want to corner myself by making the spine a certain size, because I'll be adding to these signatures, decorating them, and and things like that, and adding more pages. What I found with this one I did was I started out with between 12 and 14 pages in the signature. And then as I put the book pages in, then I added some more pages, like these pastel colored copy pages. And so they ended up being a lot thicker. They're about 18 pages per signature. And I want to make sure that my spine is going to be big enough. So what I'm going to do is kind of finish adding as much as I can to my signatures that I want to put in there. And then I'll kind of look at how thick they are and then create my spine from there so that I don't have to edit and take out the things that I really loved that I put in here. I don't want to have to remove anything because my spine wasn't big enough. So I'll be doing my cover last. So what we're going to do is, these are the offcuts of my scrapbooking paper, and we're going to be using those. And I'll put the signatures aside. What we're going to do first is we need to get our book pages out of the book. So in each little golden book, they're held together by 2 staples. So what we want to do is just kind of, I'm going to pull on the back until that kind of separates like that. And I'm going to take my needle nose pliers and just straighten those staples up. I just want to make sure that I'm in frame for y'all. Yes, I am. And then I'm going to hold it like this, and I'm going to grab one of those staples, and I'm just going to push. Oh, come on. And that's not cooperating. Ooh, this one's tough. Okay, so what I'm gonna do instead is I'm just gonna, after straightening the staples, I'm gonna just try and pull the signatures off the staple. Just like that. And then they have kind of a glued edge. They're glued in just a little bit. So gently, gently. And I can see I tore that, so I'll have to add a little bit of glue to that. And I'll worry about these staples later. So we'll put this aside. That's our cover. And these are kind of glued together just a little bit. So we're going to gently, since I already tore the front page a little bit, we'll gently get these apart. And there seems to be a lot of glue right in the middle there where I tore it. There we go. Okay, so these are our 2 signatures, and they each have 3 pages. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay. All right, so I do a little bit of work on these before I do anything else. A lot of people do these and add them to their signatures in several different ways. I've seen 2 in particular, well, 3. I've seen people make the spine big enough where they keep this part to where they don't have to do anything to the signatures of the book story at all, and they'll fit right in their journal just as they are. I'm not going to do that, and I'll tell you why. The reason is because when I make my journals, I use, I should say, 8.5 by 11 piece of paper folded in half, okay? So if I used the book pages as they are, you can see that these measure well over 5.5 inches wide. They're approximately 6 3/4 inches wide, which means I would need a 13 1/2. So I would need like a legal size paper in order to fold them in half and make them fit. My scrapbook paper measures only 12 inches wide. So my pages would be, while I like using some shorter pages to give variety to the signature, I don't want a massive amount of them to be all different sizes. That's just not me. Other people like that, and that's fine. The beauty about crafting is we all have our own different tastes, and so we bring our own flair to things. But for me, I don't like all of that, everything being a different size. I like a few things being a different size. So that is why I don't use them as they are. So the other thing I've seen people do is instead of kind of cutting them to size, they'll take and they'll fold over like this on the pages to make them fit into their signature. We're going to do something different. I did learn this from Gail Agostinelli. We're going to do things a little bit differently. So what I'm going to do is bring my paper trimmer in. I'll warn you ahead of time, I need a new blade. So I've been a little about it tearing my pages, so we'll see how this goes. So first I'm going to trim them, and I'm using the signature all together, okay? Because this is thin paper, a paper trimmer can handle it, and then I don't have to do all of them separate. I'm going to trim this at 7 3/4 because that's the height. See, geez, already messed up. Because that's the height of my book. See, and it did not like that. My paper trimmer needs a new blade. So what I'm going to do is just trim this with my scissors for the rest of the way. Plus I slipped at the beginning, and that just made it worse. All right. And then the next signature, we're going to do 7 3/4 tall. See, that time it worked. And then what I'm going to do is, and what I found, because I already did my other 2 books, so that was trial and error, I'm going to take 1/4 inch off the side, which will not impede any of the pictures or storytelling at all. So I'm just going to line this up here on this end to my 1/4 inch mark. And I'm going to take 1/4 inch off the side of each bundle of signatures. Make sure that's all the way in. Okay, so we're done with this for now. So now we have our 2 signatures of the story. So I'm going to put the bottom signature aside. So this is for our first signature, and I'm going to take my first signature of the book that I've prepared here. And what I'm going to do is split these apart, making sure I keep them in order of how the story goes. So I have my first page, second page, third page, okay? So that's the biggest thing, is making sure you stay in order. And I'm going to work on one at a time, making sure I stay in order. So our first page, I want to lay my page, my front part, face down. And again, there's many ways to do this. This is just what I found was easiest for me. Okay, I know that my pages in my signature are 5 1/2 inches wide. Okay, 5 1/2. So I want this page to be 5 1/2. So this is my fold. What I'm going to do is I'm turning my grid ruler upside down so that I'm reading it backwards. 1 2 3 4 5 1/2. And I'm going to lay my 5 1/2 inch mark on the open edge, not on the folded edge. I'm going to make sure that I'm straight. Make sure I'm in camera. Yep. I'm going to make sure that I'm in straight. So this is where I need my fold to be. So I'm going to basically just lift my paper and press against the edge of my ruler, making a crease. And then I'm going to fold on that crease. Okay, so I'm going to make sure my edges are lined up here. And if my edge is lined up here, I can just run my finger down and it's going to give me a straight fold. Okay, so now this is the size, and you can see that didn't really, it may have impeded some of the pictures, but all of the words and everything are where they need to be. Okay, so I'm going to run through and I'm going to do that to each one. And I'm going to put this face down because I want to keep my signature pages in order. I'm going to take the second page, turn it face down, put my ruler that is running the opposite way at that 5.5 inch mark, making sure my ruler is straight. And then I'm going to bend up and crease my page. And I'm going to line up my edges and run my finger down. And I have a nice straight fold. So that's the second one. Let's do the last one. Turn it over face down to where my folded edge is on this side. Take my backwards ruler. I just found that this was what was easiest for me. Line that up, making sure it's straight at the 5.5 inch mark. Bend my paper up, crease it. Line up my edge. That's not straight. That is. And run my finger down. All right. And you'll see why we're doing this in a minute. Okay. So now, put that face down. Now I have my pile of my folded. Oh, look at this. I cut off some of the words. Okay. So we're going to run through there. This one needs to be altered a little bit. So I haven't had this happen on my other two books that I did. They were all fine the way they were, but obviously this one's a little bit different. And so you just have to look and notice those things and we'll fix it. Okay. So for right now, here's the first one. I'm going to look through, make sure all my words and pictures are how I want them. These look okay. These are right on the edge, but they'll be all right. And what we're going to do is I'm going to take my art glitter glue. I'm going to open this up and I'm going to run glue right here. And I'm going to glue this flap together. Bend that over. That way it's not loose in our book. Okay, so now that's all done. Okay, so let's look at this page. We see we have an issue here. Okay, let's see if there's an issue anywhere else. This looks okay and this looks okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to refold this. Okay, it looks like that's about 1/8 of an inch. So what I'm going to do is bring back my paper trimmer and I'm going to take off another about 1/4 of an inch off the side. I'm going to straighten this fold out and then I'm going to remeasure 5.5, create our little crease and then refold this. You can always fix something. That's why I always glue last. Okay, and now we're fine. Okay, so that's how you can fix something if, when you originally do it, if some of the stuff it's not the way you want it. Just take a little more off the edge. And I see this, my cutter just kind of frayed this a little bit. Okay, so now we can glue this. So I'll just use my art glitter glue, and I'm going to close my new flap that we made. That's smaller than the other ones, but that's okay. That's not going to matter. And we're going to glue that down. And make sure that that glue got all the way to the edge. It doesn't feel like it did. So I'm going to just pop my nib of my glue in there. Get that right under there. Okay. And there we go. Now we have our fixed page. Put that face down because we're keeping everything in order. And let's look at this one and make sure this one's okay. Okay, this one looks all right. Okay, so let's glue this down. Get right up to the edge there. All right, looks good. Third page. Now, how these are going to fit in our book, let me bring my signature in, put my pin in my glue so it doesn't dry out. Okay, so how these are going to fit in our signature is this is the part that's going to fold in. So this one, because it's the title of the book, I'm going to just put it right beyond the first page. So it's going to go right here. And that looks really cute with the pocket. So here is the back page. And then we have this flap. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add a page or a pocket or something like that here on this piece. So for every page of the story that you put in, you're adding a page to your signature to hide this. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add another, maybe not another pocket because there's a pocket right here. So I think what I'm going to do is add a full page pocket, and I'll show you what I mean. So let's move this aside. We know where our page is going. I'm going to go to my paper pad because all I have is offcuts left. So I'm going to go to my paper pad. And this is the one I'm using. This is Die Cuts with a View, the Blue Citrus Stack. And I want to find a page that kind of coordinates with this, because this is what is going to be sitting up next to this. So let's see what we can find that looks nice. I really like this. Do I have... This is pretty. Oh, let's use this. We'll need our paper trimmer. Okay, so I'm going to trim this to 8.5 by 11. Actually, sorry, 7 3/4, because that's the measurement of the height of our book. So we're going to go 7 3/4. There's another offcut by 11. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this in half. Use my bone folder. Okay, so what's going to happen is this is going to fit on here like this. Okay, and that looks really pretty with this page. And it's going to hide this little, I don't know what you call it, flap. Okay, so that's going to be glued on right there. And I think I'll make it a top-loading pocket. So let's punch a thumb hole. I am using, I'm not sure what size this is. Let's measure it. This is a 1.5 inch circle punch. So this is going to go in like this. So this is my front. So I want to make sure that this is where I'm punching the thumb hole. So I'm just going to put this in about halfway, trying to eyeball center the edges of the paper. And I'm just going to punch that. Okay. And then I think I'm going to sew it on. So let me pause you here and I'll be right back. Okay. So I've sewed around. You can see. Yeah, you can. I just used a zigzag. And I sewed around the 3 edges. And what I forgot to do on camera, what I wanted to show you, was, I'll open this up. See if I can open it up and show you. The flap, I glued, see if you can see this. The flap of our book, I glued to the back side of this before I sewed it. Okay, we don't want that floating around in our pocket or we're gonna have a hard time getting things in and out. Okay, so let's put this in our signature and see what it looks like. Okay, so this was going right behind the very first page. Okay, so as you can see, now we have our first page of our story. Right, and then in the back is the other side of the story, right here, next to the skew. Oh, she looks like she's dancing, and then there's music page. Okay, and then we have this, and we have our pocket, and the last page. So you see how we just added a page. Okay, so let's do the next one. And I'll do something different with each one. Okay, so here's this one. And I want to decide where we want it to go. So what I do is, because there's 3 book pages that need to go in, I kind of know where I want to put the first one and the last one. I know that I want the last one here, right before the end of the signature. Okay, so the last one's going to go there. And then the first one's right here. So I just kind of look and see where I might want to put the other one where it's not so like close to the other ones. So I think what I'll do is put it here. That looks like a good spot. And I think that's going to look really pretty too. So if we put this in here like this, you can see that that looks really pretty next to each other. And then if you turn it the other side, then that yellow, see the yellows and the blues just look really pretty there. Okay, so what we're gonna have up next, our extra thing to hide the flap, is gonna be up next to this dictionary page. And so I think we'll do a different kind of pocket, and I'll show you what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna offset this here so I know where I want that page to go. I know that that's my place marker. And we just have some some kind of very vintage looking dictionary page that our extra page is gonna go up against here. So, and then what I'll be showing here that I'll be next to is this. So I wanna choose some papers that are gonna kind of go. Okay, so I'm going to use my offcuts. Let's look through these and see what we like. There's a blue water. I think this would be really pretty for one side of the pocket. And let's do this one for the other side. Okay, so what I want to do is trim both of these down. Well, as I went to cut those pieces of paper, I realized, because I went to check to see if I was in frame, and I'm not sure how long I had been talking. It had been quite a while, been teaching y'all about my book here, and it just absolutely wasn't recording. So what I've done is I've finished the first signature, and I got my second signature up to the point of where my phone cut off. So we cut off and we were about to do a pocket, and I had chosen my 2 papers, and these obviously are different papers because I'm doing the second signature now. I'm sorry about that. I hate it when that happens. So we're gonna cut these down, both of them, to the length of our height of our book. So it's 7 3/4. And essentially what we're gonna create is a pocket. But I really want my front of my pocket to be shorter. Okay, so I'm gonna trim this down to 3 inches. And that'll make more sense here in just a minute. Set these aside. For my back piece here, I'm going to use my We Are Memory Keepers corner chomper on the 1/4 inch round, and I'm going to just round the top 2 corners. We can set this aside. We don't need this right now. And so our pocket's going to look like this, and it's going to go into our book page. We're going to sandwich that flap in between here. So I want to make this a little more decorative instead of just a straight line. So I've chosen this Martha Stewart edge punch. I think this one's called Triple Dots. And I'm just going to punch the edge just so it's not just a straight line. I like to have things to be more decorative. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit frazzled because I'm picking up. You guys are seeing it seamless, but for me, I've been trying to fix things for about half an hour now, so I'm jumping back in, and it's just going to take me a moment to get back into the swing of things here. Okay, what I'm going to do is take the back of my pocket with my rounded edges up and glue it onto my flap. So I'm doing the back side of my flap, putting glue. And like I said, I choose it to the back, glue it to the back of the pocket because I just feel like things are going to go in easier. So I'm just going to line this up on the edge and press it down. So this is my pocket portion. I just want to make sure I'm recording. Yeah, it's still recording. Boy, I hate it when that happens. It just like throws me. So we're only going to glue on 3 sides here so that we have our pocket. Okay. So I'm going to lift my book page up so I see exactly where my crease is, and I'm going to just set this right in. You see me shaking? I'm a shaker. I'm not really nervous. I shake. I do that even when I am crafting and I'm all by myself, doing some of the fine detail stuff, getting things lined up, things like that. I might have a tendency to shake. I don't know why I do that. And now we have a cute little pocket here that we can fit a journaling card into. Oops, I didn't let that glue set. Let the glue set. And that'll be really cute. You can fit all kinds of things in there. And it's not a full page, so it adds a little variety. I've chosen in my signature where I want this one to go. Just straighten this out here. So I'm going to put it right here. And our page now fits in our book. Let's take a look and see how it looks. So this is our front side. Really pretty next to this paper. I love this paper. So flip this over to the back side here so we can see what our pocket looks like. And that's what our pocket looks like. Now I'll probably go back when I go to decorate and things like that and maybe stencil. Use a stencil or something here so it's not so white. But for right now, that just looks super cute. Okay, so the last book page we're going to do is this one. And this one is going to go right behind our center of our signature. Okay, so I've already chosen a piece of paper. We're going to do a different kind of pocket this time. We're going to do kind of a free floating, like secretarial pocket. So this is our page and our flap, and this is the paper that I've chosen. Okay, so I'm going to trim this down to 7 3/4 tall. Again, that's our magic measurement for this book, the height of our book. And then we're going to go, again, 11 inches wide. I'm going to keep my trimmer here because we're going to need it again. I'm going to fold this in half. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off part of this. Okay, I am going to edge punch it, so we want to leave room for that. And I'm just eyeballing this, guys. I did not measure at all. It's just whatever looks good to your eye, do that, okay? The biggest, most important thing is that your open end is on the top of your cutting. Okay, we're gonna cut against the fold. I have my fold at the bottom, and I'm just gonna eyeball this of maybe what I want my pocket to look like. I think right about there is good. Now I can put that aside. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna edge punch the pocket. These Martha Stewart punches are really good. This is very thick cardstock. Die Cuts with a View makes a very thick cardstock. And this Martha Stewart punch will go through both layers. Okay, I'm gonna go a little bit further. That looks like it's on the edge, but I want it to look completely continuous. There we go. Now I'll do the other side. And one more. And that's what we have. So it looks like that. Very cute. I like it. All right, so here's our last page. Again, I'm going to glue this to the back of the pocket. We want to get our glue as close to the edges as we can so that this will lay flat inside the pocket. Line this up on the edge. Nice and even, and press it down. Okay, now we're going to, because this is a pocket, we're only going to glue on two sides. We're going to glue on this side and here to the middle. So I'm going to run my glue down this side and across the bottom. And then fold it over and glue it down. Okay, and I do have some overhang. I'm going to trim that off. See, I'm shaky. Ugh. It's really not nerves, I promise. All right. All right, there we go. And now we have kind of a free floating secretarial pocket. And this is going to go right in the center, right here. And so this is what that pocket looks like in the book. I like that. It looks so nice with this. Okay, so I want to make sure we're still filming because I'm paranoid now. So yes, it's still going. I'm going to show you the last thing. I got to this part where I was like done with the first signature, and then I realized it hadn't filmed those previous like 15 minutes. So here's what I like to do. I like to make sure that my pieces of patterned paper, whether it's cardstock or paper, have 2 or 3 other pages in between them. So what I've done is, I think I'm going to use one of these. If it was anything like the first signature, I'm going to use one of these. And then I have a pack of just this regular copy paper that is in pastel colors. You can see that, that I'm going to use as kind of fillers. And these are great as journaling spots, journaling pages, things like that for your journal. So I'm just going to thumb through and see where I need to maybe add something. So here's a printed pattern. So we have 1, 2, 3 pages. Okay, so that's good. And here we have 1, 2. Okay, so we need an extra page here. I think I'm going to put it here, and I think we'll use look at this washi. That's pretty. I think we'll use blue. That'll go with the washi that's on the edge there of that dictionary page. So all I'm going to do is fold this in half, and then we'll trim it to the height of the book, which is 7 3/4, our magic number. And we'll just keep this out because we're going to need it. And then we'll just slip this in. So now I have 1, 2, 3 pages. Let's see the next one. Here we have 1, 2 pages here. No, yeah, we have 2 pages there. Okay, let's add, I really would like a blue. I think I'm gonna move this blue that we just put in to here, because I think that's where it's gonna look best. And then we'll go back here and add like a green. So I'm just gonna take this, fold it in half. I'm not sure if I'm in frame or not. I'll move over here. I just don't know if my folds are gonna be right. There we go. Trim it to 7 3/4. And this is a big part of the reason why I wanted to do my spine last. Put this aside. And that green looks good there. That looks good with that washi too. Okay. So we were at the blue page that we added, which was here. And here's our next piece. So we've only got 1 page in between here. So what I'm gonna do is add, let's see. We can do something totally contrasting here and maybe add like pink, because there is pink in some of the book pages, so it wouldn't be completely odd for this book to have a pink piece of paper in it. So we'll fold this, trim it 7 3/4. And I think we'll put it, let's put it right here. And then we need to add one more thing, and I think that's where I'm gonna add a music sheet. I have this golden songbook, the Golden Songbook, and let's see what we can do to kind of accent that. This matches. Let's use this. Carefully tear this out. Not too worried about the rough edge because we're going to cut it to size to fit the book. I know these are 11 inches wide, so we don't have to worry about the width. It's going to fit. But the tall measurement. Let's see, if I go 7 3/4 all on one end, it's going to take me all the way to this bar of music, and then I've got all of this space here. So I think what I'm going to do is just, I'm going to trim off this ragged edge, then I'm going to flip it over and cut it to the 7 3/4, and that way it looks fairly even on both sides. Okay, so let's put this in. I think I would like it like this because, well, no, that's not. That way, when I turn it over this way, I've got this coordinating with that, and that's super cute. Okay, so there's 3 now pages. And then we have our last, this is the last book page. There's only this book page between these 2 pieces of cardstock. And I think that I'm just going to add just 1 piece of copy paper, and I'm going to add yellow. And that's okay. Not everything has to have 2 or 3, I mean 2 or 3 pages, and this will have 2. So that's going to be enough. I don't really want to add any more than that, because we're getting kind of full and we haven't even put any ephemera in it. So 7 3/4. And that is it. Our signature is finished. That looks really cute, that yellow. See how it looks on the other side. Oh, look at it next to the secretarial pocket. Oh, and that's nice too, because it separates this pocket here from this pocket here. So that works really good. And then it goes with this. Okay. So our signatures are ready. Because of the video screw up, I now have both signatures done. So that's what we're looking like so far. And these are for the little book, Prayers for Children. And in the next video, we'll start on some ephemera. So that'll be really fun. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Y'all have a great day and God bless. Bye-bye.